All right, welcome back. For this particular activity, we're doing activity 1.2.0, Introduction to Onshape in the PLTW CIM class. For this activity, there's basically four things you have to do. First, if you haven't done so far, you need to register and activate for Onshape, your Onshape account. You do this individually, do this on your own, simply by going to onshape.com and signing up for an account or signing in if you already have an account. The next thing we need to do is we're going to scroll down here. If you don't know how to do Onshape, you can go through the tutorial. Otherwise, you can just follow my lead here. We're going to create this particular item here. That's the second thing. The third thing we're going to do is we're going to create a multi-view drawing. And here we have the front, top, and side view, as well as the isometric view. Here's a detailed view. It's giving us the information on the chamfer here, and we'll use that later on as well. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and build this. You can see that it's 2 inches wide by 3 inches deep. And so I'm going to go ahead and build this in Onshape. I've taken the liberty of starting an Onshape document, which is where we're going to have the part. I don't want to see the front, so I'm going to hide by clicking on the eyeball there on the front and the right planes. And I'm going to create a sketch on the top plane. So I'll click on the top plane and then click on the word sketch. And to kind of straighten it out, I'll spin this around by using the view cube and clicking on the top here. Notice all the icons, all the tools in the toolbar are now in the 2D mode. In other words, the drawing mode, we're going to draw a rectangle. So this very first one here, we'll click on the rectangle and simply draw a rectangle by clicking and dragging up and to the right. The width of this particular rectangle is 2 inches, so I'll type in a 2 and press enter. And that toggles over to the depth. That's going to be 3. So I go ahead and click the 3. You can see I have a rectangle that's 2 inches by 3 inches. At this point, I could click the green check mark to set that in stone, or I can simply go up to 3D mode and extrude this. I happen to know from looking at the picture that I'm going to extrude this, and you can see here the height is 2.5 inches, so we'll extrude it by 2.5. I'm going to click right here where it says 1 inch and type in 2.5. 1 inch is the default. If you hit enter, it'll allow you to view what it's going to look like and then set it in stone by clicking the check mark. Notice we now have a sketch and an extrusion. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and click on this corner to put it back in isometric view. And I'll click on the little eyeball next to the top plane in the features window to get rid of the top plane. I need to create this, this beam or shaft or this particular extrusion here. It happens to be a 1 inch by 1 inch square that's extruded, and you can see the height here is 2 inches. So that's pretty simple. I'm going to create that on this particular item here. So I'll click on this face, I'll choose the word sketch, and then I'll come to my view cube and choose the word right to spin it around. I'll use my scroll wheel to zoom in a little bit. I'm going to draw a rectangle, so I'll click on the rectangle draw tool. Notice that it stays blue while it's active. I'll click on the bottom line and drag up and to the right. And you'll see I'll make this a little bit wider. When I release the mouse, it's asking me, the box there with the number 1.217, it's asking me how wide it is. Well, we happen to know that it's 1 inch wide. And then it toggles when I hit enter, it toggles over to the height. It happens to be 2 inches tall. So I'll click on the 2. The last thing we need to do here before extruding this is put a dimension. Notice I'm in the drawing the rectangle mode. I'm going to slide all the way over here till I see the arrows, the 2 arrows with the 2 lines. That's the dimension tool, and I'll dimension from here to here by clicking on this line, releasing, and clicking on this outer edge saying I want to go from one to the other, and then clicking again to get into edit mode and typing 1 inch there as well, as this is 1 inch away. At this point, I'm going to extrude it. I don't need to hit the grain. I can do that, but I choose to come up and click on the extrude button. And it selects this. I'll select this piece here by clicking inside that little box and choosing 1 inch and enter. And if I spin this around, oh, that didn't take, so let's go back to this. I have to actually select the box to tell it I want to extrude that, and then click the check mark, and you will see that we have extruded that particular box. I'm going back to the view cube. I'll select that button in the top right corner, and we're almost done. The last thing we need to do is we need to chamfer this edge and this edge. The chamfer button, you can do that in 3D mode. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Looks like it's the 7th tool over, or the seventh icon over, and there's a chamfer. It looks like a chamfer. We're going to click on that chamfer, and then we can choose the edges. Don't choose the entire face, otherwise it will chamfer all four edges. Just choose this edge and this edge. Now I'm going to go back to the picture here so we can see. We can see here that this is 0.5 down and 0.5 over from the corner. So we have a chamfer of 0.5 by 0.5. So it's the same distance going both directions. So down here in the corner, notice it says we have two edges that we're extruding. We're extruding an equal distance. We have to put in the value. The value happens to be 0.5. If I type in 0.5 and enter, it will give me a preview of what it's going to look like. And then I click the check mark to finish it out. So we've completed the actual item here. That's awesome. The next thing we need to do is we need to do a drawing of that particular option, of that particular item. Down here in the bottom left-hand corner is a plus. That plus is the Insert New Element menu. We click on it, and we're going to create a drawing. So click on Create Drawing. Just accept the default, which is ANSI inch, ANSI A inch, and click OK. It's going to bring up a template. The template happens to be in inch mode, and it will pop up and show a drawing plate in the middle of the screen. To the left of the screen, it should show the part that we just created. We want to insert, so notice that insert is selected here. We're going to click on the actual part and drag it to where we want it. So I want this part to be right here. Now notice that what highlights is the projected view. So I'm going to project the view up top right here. I'm still in projected view. Notice that's blue. So I will click here and say let's project that over here. And I'll click here again and project it up here in the corner. Now notice these items are all coming in really big. After projecting all four of those items, I'm going to hit Escape and then come back to the front view, which is the bottom left. I'll double click on it, and as I double click on it, this item pops up over here. I need to scale this down. So I'm going to scale it down to 1 to 1.5 and go ahead and hit Enter so you can see what it looks like. And then if you like that scale, click the green check mark to accept it. I don't need the word scale here, here, or here, just one time. Now, typically what I would do is right click and make sure that I'm showing all the hidden edges. So show all the hidden lines. Now you'll notice on this, there are no hidden lines. So we're not going to see hidden lines in this particular drawing. The next thing I want to do is right click on the isometric view and say show shaded view. So I have that shaded view of the isometric drawings. Notice one of the things that we're supposed to do here in the assignment, it says to show all the dimensions. In fact, down here it says to submit your 4-view multi-view of your shape with dimensions. That's what we're working on now. So let's put dimensions. If we slide along the top bar here, we should see that same dimension sign that we saw earlier. We'll click on the dimension sign and we'll add dimensions. I click on this line and go straight up. I go from here to the outer edge and go straight up. So I'm going to center the dimension between the dimension line. So I have all of my widths, width from here and my width from here. So I have the two widths that I need. Now I need to put in the height. So let's do that. We'll bring this out. That's 2 inches high. And from here to here happens to be 2.5 inches high. Now we need our depth. Now this line here represents the chamfer, or the distance from here to here. We don't want to put a dimension there, but we will dimension from here to this line here, happens to be 1 inch. And then we'll go from here to the second line, which happens to be 2 inches. And from one end to the other to represent our depth, which happens to be 3 inches. Notice that these are all staggered. The only thing that we're left with that we haven't done is the chamfer. The down arrow next to the dimension tool up at the top, or icon at the top, gives us the option for a chamfer dimension. So we're going to go ahead and put that in. And we will go ahead and say, let's chamfer from here to here. And we pull this out. Oh, it gave us the wrong number. So we're going to hit escape and try that again. Let's do one more time with the chamfer. let's hit this one first and then the top, and then we can come out and we can see that it's 0.5 at a 45-degree angle, and we have that chamfer. Now, we're not typically done with that. We'll double click on that, and what we're going to write here is we're going to write in this box right over here, capital TYP, which means typical. In other words, and then we'll click somewhere else and hit escape, means for all the chamfers, they're going to be the same, 0.5 at 45 degrees. The last thing we need to do is put our name here on this. So I simply click on the A up there for putting in a name. Well, let's see, is that the right one? Click on the A. I probably clicked on the wrong one, a note. And I'll drag this box out, and I'll put in my name. Okay, and click the check mark. So now we have our name here. All right, so you're ready to submit this. You have your multi-view drawing, you have it fully dimensioned. I think that's just about everything that we need on this particular item. The last thing we need to do, and I'm going to show you this in just a second here. We'll click here. It says in our assignment is to submit hand calculations of the surface area for the shape. So what I did is I made this before, and I'll bring this up so you can see it. In this particular item, I color-coded the actual parts that are the same. For example, this I know is 2 inches by 2 inches. Well, this happens to be 2 inches by 2 inches. And this other side, the red, is the same as this side here, which is red. So what I did is I made some comments. So I'm going to right-click, and we'll go to, you can edit the face. This is how I did this, edit the face of appearance on the various faces, and come up to where it says add comment. The comments section will come up, and you will see over here that I've added multiple comments. And with each face, for example, I gave each face a value, face H, and I think it went down through face A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and H, and I calculated the value of each of these, and I added them all together. So the faces, the total amount of each one of these came out to be 41 inches, 0.213 or something of that nature, and that is the value of the surface area for this particular object. There's another way to do this. I'll hide the comments. The way to do that is down here in the bottom right-hand corner. It says Display Mass Properties. So I click on the Display Mass Properties, and I click on Part 1 over here. We haven't given it a name, but Part 1, and you will see right here, it says 41.328 inches squared. That's the surface area for this entire thing, and that's how you can check your work. You can check to see if your mathematical calculations are equivalent to those that the Onshape has come up with. And that is it in a nutshell. Make sure you take pictures of your parts, take pictures of your multi-view drawing, and include your mathematical calculations when you submit your work. All right, guys, good luck. And if you have any questions, be sure to send me an email. Thanks. Bye-bye.